Well, folks, this is Casey's big day for show business. We're here at the GIE show in Louisville. We're unloading Casey right here in the middle of the street. He's getting ready to go be the star of the show. Well, Christy, there he goes. You think he's going to be up for showbiz?
Yep.
I think he's going to handle it just fine. Oh, I guess the day eventually had to come. No more Y. You can still see a little outline of the Y here, Christy.
Yeah. I guess we were just foster parents.
Yep. Yeah, so we're going to turn Casey back over to the proper parents. That's the sad part of the story.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more. Look at this.
That's a lot bigger.
Casey's all grown up. 37C. It's got a cab, a beacon. I don't know why I need a beacon.
Just your low-flying planes.
Yeah, well, there are low-flying planes here, so we may have to interrupt. We're right here by the airport. The Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center, I believe this is called. When we first got little Casey, a guy named Garrett helped us learn how to use him. And wouldn't you know it, we're here at the Fair and Exposition Center, probably 500 miles from where we met Garrett last time. And here's Garrett. Come on over, Garrett, and show us what's going on with this 37C.
So this is the CX17C, so you're looking at a 3.7 metric ton machine.
That's heavy.
It's definitely going to be a lot heavier than Casey. There's a couple of different things that you got to know about this one. You're upgrading. So when we talk about the 37, what you're getting is an electronically controlled engine.
Okay.
So you're adding auto idle. You also have the cab, so you're going to have the climate control, so you have heat and you have air conditioning. I know it doesn't get too cold where you're at, but the air conditioning is going to be real nice come summer.
Hey, did you hear that, Christy?
Yeah, we'll never get you out of there.
I'm going to dig in my backyard now.
So the 37's running a Yanmar engine.
Oh, it's a Yanmar.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So we went from the Kubota to the Yanmar. So now we're talking about, like I said, the electronically controlled engine. So now you're going to get that auto idle. So what that is, if you're not aware, after 5 seconds of not moving hydraulic controls or your tracks, it's going to bring the idle down. Okay. Just because it's going to save you fuel. It's nice when you're sitting there talking with Christy, you don't have to yell over the noise anymore.
Well, so I can still yell at her though, right?
You can still yell at Christy, you just don't need to do it as loud.
Oh.
But you know, so the nice thing about the 37 is because you have a bigger machine, your serviceability is going to be a little bit more accessible.
Yeah, everything's kind of out here where we can reach it. The oil, the filters, the fuel filter, the oil filter.
Right, you have access to your dipstick and you have access to your oil fill. I don't remember if you remember on Casey, you have to lift the seat up with those two bolts.
Yeah,
here you got it right there. So when you get bigger, you just gain a little bit more accessibility.
Okay.
But I mean, overall, besides the cab, you're just gaining a lot more dig depth and a lot more weight that you can lift with it.
Okay. Yeah, so that was really the limiting factor on the 17 was I would try to dig something and sometimes I just felt like the back end was a little bit light. Now some of that I'm certain was inexperience and me not knowing exactly how to use the machine and how much it could handle.
Right. But just having the extra weight as well, you're going to definitely feel that difference when you're digging. You're not going to feel as tippy, if you will, when you have this machine.
And I assume there's more features too. Maybe around here you can show me some more features.
Sure.
Okay, so we're here at the boom end now. What's going on here?
Okay, so with the 37, you do have a couple different coupler options. Also, you have the factory mounted thumb bracket. So you're going to be able to get that thumb.
So this bracket lets us this is probably where the cylinder of the thumb attaches.
Yeah, so you're going to have the back side of the cylinder, and then, that way you can go down to the thumb to control.
Okay, and the other part of the thumb connects to one of these pins.
So.
Okay.
And then the other thing you have is now you have that one-way and two-way flow that you had before, but you're just, like you did on Casey, you're just going to have a little bit more flow from that pump.
Okay.
Casey had the guards. You still have the cylinder guard here, as you can see.
Yeah.
And now with the cab, you have the lights and you have the mirrors. So you're going to be able to see behind you a little bit better. Okay,
because we only had one light. Is there a light over there?
Right.
Yes,
there's the light on the boom, and then you have one on the cab now.
I thought the light on the boom was, I just figured it was entirely useless. But when we actually used it after dark, it was always pointed in the right direction.
Yep.
It was pretty amazing, actually. I thought one light wasn't going to do much, and it was all I needed.
Yeah, it does allow you to change angles a little bit, and it's got the nice protective cover as well.
Yeah.
Then once you get up in the cab, you're going to notice it's a little more spacious than Casey. Now you have the door that you just pull up over the top of your head with these. You pull these handles in.
Okay.
You can pull that right up, so now you still have good visibility.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
On a day like today, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that's your swing.
Yeah. But I meant now I actually have foot controls here. I didn't have that on the 17.
Right.
A lot
so
of
you do have
viewers
your foot pedals.
A lot of viewers were saying, "Why don't you use your foot controls for the speed?" And I would say, "Well, I don't have any."
Yeah, and that's just limited by the size.
There was
of
no
the machine.
space.
There's no space for
Yeah.
it because of the size. Now you're in the 37, so you do have a little bit more size. Your heater is going to be on your right-hand side there.
Okay.
And then your air conditioner is actually going to be on the back, behind your right shoulder there.
Okay.
So that's going to be your air conditioner as well.
The controls are back there too.
Your controls are back there
These
too.
controls, I understand.
Right, except for the one in the middle there with that right there. That's going to be your auto idle.
Okay.
So when you want auto idle to be functional, you're going to have to turn that on.
Okay.
Once that's on, then it'll drop down.
And that's the beeper, and this is the
beacon. So
The
that's your beacon.
Okay.
So you did gain that beacon. Then over on your right hand side there is your dozer blade.
Yeah.
Now you don't have the retractable tracks on this machine like you did on Casey.
Yeah.
But you're not going into buildings like you
I
did
don't
with
think
that.
I needed them. It looks like we're still the same width as the unit, right? Or are we
You're a little wider.
Okay. But I think for most of my situations, I do like the boom that can be angled so that I can dig right along the side of the unit.
Right, and you still have that option with that foot
Yeah.
pedal right there. You flip
Yeah.
that up, and you're still going to be able to dig in line with the tracks.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a spring type suspension seat. So you'll use that to adjust it to your weight, and then you're going to have a little bit of give in that seat. It's just nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
And
It's a little nicer.
then on the right hand side there, you have your display. That'll your fuel and your coolant. The other thing that you have is you can put in an operator's code, so that when you park the machine overnight, it'll lock out your machine, and then nobody can start it up and take it on you.
Okay. So basically an anti-theft
It's an
mechanism.
anti-theft program. Yeah, we call it engine starting limit.
I noticed that in addition to the front window that goes up here, there's also a window in the roof so that you can actually see above you.
Yeah, and then it also has the falling object protection as well. So that's what the metal bars are for.
Just saying, there's a lot of UPS going out of Kentucky's airport.
Yeah, we've seen several UPS flights just while we've been here
Yeah.
talking. Oh, what's this knob?
So that's your throttle. So before, because you had the
Oh, no
mechanical
throttle.
engine, you had the throttle lever.
Yeah.
Well, now that you have the engine controller on this machine, it's going to be a potentiometer. It's going to be a
Okay.
little easier to fine tune.
So when I turn that throttle up, it will still auto idle back to idle?
As
or-
long as you have that switch on.
Okay, so this is controlling the max throttle then.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so there's two different control formats, right, for how your joysticks work. One's called ISO and one's called SAE. Or if you're not in a Case booth, it's called Deer and Cat. I'm not supposed to say that. He didn't hear that.
So ISO and SAE are the two patterns.
Okay.
On Casey, the 17C, you had to pull the panel off with a bolt to get to the pattern changer. On the 37, it's under this keyed panel here.
Okay.
And so it's the exact same valve as you would have seen on Casey when you pulled that panel off.
Yep.
It's just under a very accessible keyed
Okay.
panel. So you can switch that back and forth very easily.
Okay. Have to have the seatbelt set to cheeseburger position.
Oh my.
Oh no, I didn't. It was way up here. I have plenty of room. There's
That
the
does
key.
not mean you can eat more cheeseburgers.
You hungry?
No.
I'm getting hungry.
I'm getting hungry. Garrett and me's going for cheeseburgers. You can do whatever you want, Christy.
Well, if you're going, I'm going. This one gonna move any faster?
I think you gain about 0.2 miles an hour.
This is one of the cool things about the GIE show, is that we can actually get out here and dig. Now, we're out here one afternoon too early, right? So we're gonna, the rest of the crowd is able to dig tomorrow. So everybody gets a chance to actually drive these machines and test them out. I've really never seen any show like this where you can actually try the machines. Maybe one manufacturer might have a little area or something, but for there to be acre after acre, I think there's 20 acres here where you can try out the different machines. Hey, Christy.
Yeah?
I forgot to call before you dig.
fall before you dig? That looks like a camel.
Go ahead and grab that, Garrett. Ah!
Oh, it does look like a camel.
Got a little more track power with that than you did on Case, don't you?
Just a tad bit.
Wow, compared to Casey, that's amazing.
Okay, I think this is Casey now.
That's pretty impressive. So how long do people play with these if they come to GIE?
Usually just a couple minutes. Gives them a chance to get a feel for it. You know, usually this show gets really busy, so we'll have a pretty good line of people waiting to get on machines and test them out. So as much as we'd love to give people 15-20 minutes to really get a feel for it, we just don't have that opportunity.
Sure. But you have 3 or 4 different pieces of equipment they can try out?
Right, so we'll be running 2 skid steers over here. You'll be able to choose one, like we have the 3 mini excavators in a lineup over here, and we're gonna have one of those running. We'll have the compact wheel loader running over on this side. We're gonna have the backhoe running on the far side of our site. So Tim, I forgot to tell you, on the 37, you actually have a craning hook up here. So you don't have to run the strap through the dog bone, if you will. You just hook it right into that strap and you can move stuff.
Oh, okay. So it's got a lot more strength. We'll have to see how high it lifts and everything, but we're going to have some time to do that because you know what, guys? We're taking this one home.
Yay!
Hey, Garrett, I'm just wondering, I see a whole bunch of other cool toys out here.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We were talking about all the things that they can come out here and run with skid steers, the compact wheel loader, and the backhoe.
I was just wondering if you thought maybe we could run any of that stuff.
I'm sure we can work something out.
Ha ha! This says candy store to me.
Yes, and you're the kid.
I'm gonna go check this thing out.
Okay. Tim, that won't fit in our shed.
Minor problems. Minor problems.
Oh.
This thing's got a retractable seat belt and tilt wheel. It's meant clearly for long-term operation. You know, I mean, like, it's got a lot of things to help you battle fatigue. Really nice interior. Look at that.
These are a little more, wow, this thing's a little more difficult to operate. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to have your park brake on the left side under your leg.
Yeah.
You're going to turn this thing on, and then to go forwards, backwards, this is your F and R switch. So forward, neutral, reverse. You got to have it in neutral to start it up.
And then one of these is
your gas, and the other one's your brake.
Okay.
Then this is going to control your bucket up and down. Okay. So this also has a 4-in-1 bucket on it.
Okay, good.
And so you should be able to run it with your thumb switch there.
Okay.
All right.
We might try this for a minute. See what we can do.
I'm getting down.
No. You scared of me?
No. But I don't want to hang on the edge. I knew he was going to do that.
It's a really handy bucket. So you're talking about something that you can use as a scraper. So you can open it up 2 inches, just take that top 2 inches off. You can use it if you pick up rocks or things like that. It'll clamp down on it.
Wow.
So it's a grapple bucket. You know, then you have obviously your bucket, and as Tim was doing, he had it all the way open and it was pushing it as a dozer blade. It's just a really nice bucket. It's really handy. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's got a nice turn radius too, so you can pretty much moving right around there.
It would take me some practice to get used to the 4-in-1 from all I can do, but it would be very valuable. Garrett, I could use one of those 4-in-1 buckets. I think that would work for me.
Those 4-in-1 buckets are really nice. We make them for skid steers too. So,
do you have any advice on working with a finance committee, maybe to be able to see how to actually get one?
flowers, possibly.
I probably used that one a few times. It's probably worn out.
Kitchen gadgets.
Kitchen gadgets. New blenders. You ever seen one of those Vitamix ones?
Cool.
Instapot.
Keep those ideas coming.
Oh, Instapot. That's. you don't even want to get me started on those. I love mine.
Okay. This is a huge compact track loader.
Right. This is our TV 450. This is actually being unveiled at this show. So
that's brand new, huh?
Brand new.
Whoa.
So you're talking about 4,500 pound rated operating capacity to 50%. Oh, you're going to be able to lift a good amount. It's really good for guys that are doing a lot with like hardscape, where you're doing big pallets of block.
I also noticed some really wide tracks. That looks like that helped with flotation a little bit.
Yeah, so that's one of the advantages of a compact track loader over a skid steer. Is you're going to get that compact or that flotation over the ground, so you're not going to tear up dirt.
Yeah.
Also, if you got a lot of water or soft soil, you're going to be able to get over that and not rut it up. So that's one of the big advantages that we have with the compact track loader. This one's got the tooth bucket too, which is going to give you that extra breakout force and a little more tractive effort.
Yeah, we know all about tooth bars and they're amazing. Christy, you want to try this thing?
Sure.
Christy, this is going to be just like the one you test drove. It's just going to lift more.
Okay. So I can tear up more.
Yep.
Yeah, that payloader, Garrett, was really nice with the 4-in-1 bucket.
Those are really nice, especially because it gives you that extra lifting capacity that you might need when you get into the heavier blocks.
So really that's the number one feature of a payloader is that lift capacity. It's probably about the highest lift capacity you can get.
Lift capacity and your lift height. So if you're doing some more truck loading, you're going to be able to get that bucket up higher in the air.
Yeah, that's where we see them most, is like a rock or crushed stone loading place. Let's see what Christy's got going here. It does have a nice lift height for a compact track loader.
You're looking up in the 11-foot range. So you're still able to get over a lot of the
That would get over a lot of dump trucks.
Yeah. So it's going to be great for, especially it's a vertical lift machine. So that bucket stays in the same position all the way through its lifting height. So it's the furthest out at dump position for dump trucks or loading things onto a truck.
Yeah. So do you have a preference? Vertical lift or radial lift?
I really don't have a preference. It all kind of depends on the job you're doing. The radial lift's going to give you more breakout force. So if you're doing a lot where you're prying into really hard ground, you're going to want to look more towards a radial. But if you're doing more truck loading and things of that nature, you want to go vertical.
Okay, that's very helpful. Well, I think we'll leave the 580 for another day. I told Christy, Garrett, that this was like a candy store to me.
Yeah.
So you get to play with this stuff every day.
I mean, not every day, but
I need to figure out how to get your job.
Talk to my boss. He might be willing.
Yeah, but you need a job too, so I guess maybe I better not take that.
I appreciate that. My kids would too. So.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour, and maybe it's a little bit of a candy store for you too. So anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Are you gonna dig? Maybe we just need to maybe we just need to get you a shovel. You can dig with a shovel.
I'm gonna use this.